Houston continues to celebrate the most recent Michelin Guide honors. This, of course, is for restaurants. However, if you're not familiar with the guide, it started more than 100 years ago by the tire company to encourage people to get out, to travel, put wear and tear on their tires so they'd buy new ones. A century later, it's all about food, and this morning, what it takes to make the prestigious list. Here is the list of Houston restaurants being honored this year. Our Sophia Ojeda traveled to the Northwest Side to meet with the creator behind Tatemó.
I'd like to tell people that my second win, or how I fell in love with cooking again, was when I moved back to Houston.
Chef Emmanuel Chavez has spent his whole life in a restaurant kitchen. But after 13 years as a chef, he says he didn't know anything about Mexican cuisine.
And because I was ashamed of it, I kind of was very intrigued to do the research and talk to farmers in Mexico.
During COVID, Chef Chavez started making tortillas in his apartment in Montrose.
That whole lockdown for me was learning how to actually make the proper tortilla. All I knew was what I thought a tortilla was open a bag of flour, add water, and there you go. And I was so far off and so wrong.
He worked tirelessly to rediscover the foundation of the Mexican cuisine, the maize. Here at Tatemó, it's imported from Mexico and goes through a process before they grind it fresh in-house.
Now we don't want to add too much water. Masa.
The ritual, all a huge part of the mission at Tatemó.
To remind people that Mexican food is not cheap. If you're gonna go to a sushi spot or Italian place and buy a bowl of pasta for $30, knowing that it's 2 ingredients, wheat and water, why can't we have that same respect for Mexican cuisine when you go eat tacos, knowing that it's basically the same thing, right? Maize and water.
Tatemó offers an 8-course tasting menu, each course with a story or history about the dish. Chef Chavez calls it an experience.
When you are welcome in, you're being treated like it was your home or our home by a team member, and then that team member is gonna make sure that you go in this journey of different textures and flavors that you've never had before. I think you're gonna end up really, really excited at the end of the meal.
And so when word of the Michelin Guide coming to Texas broke and that Tatemó could be on the list of honors.
So that was like a sense of peace, like, oh my God, like it's happening. I think people are gonna see that it is possible to achieve something massive at a small business scale. And that's really gonna catapult the next 5-6 incredible Hispanic chefs in our city.
Now, Tatemó isn't like any other restaurant. They don't advertise, they don't have a phone number, and they don't have a sign on the building. They do not take walk-ins either, so you have to make a reservation online. And just a heads up, they're booked until 2025. Sophia is here this morning to talk more about the restaurant. Beautiful food, beautiful presentation, and they seem awesome.
They're so welcoming. So yes, like it's exclusive, right? There's no sign on the door.
So, right.
There's no phone number. You kind of have to know to get there.
Right.
They're kind of like off the beaten path, but they are so welcoming. They want everybody, anybody to come in, make a reservation, no walk-ins obviously,
right,
but make a reservation. And what I love about Chef Chavez is that he wants to tell a story with each dish. So it's an 8-course menu that you prepay for.
Wow.
And every dish, he says, there's a server that comes out. We're going to talk about that in just a bit. But when the server comes out, they just don't put the food down. They tell a story about the dish, or they'll tell a little bit of history about the dish. So each dish comes with its experience. So yes, while it's kind of exclusive, he wants everybody who can to come out and try it. He used to do brunch. And kind of walk-in brunches, but he said that got a little too hectic. The line was like down the strip, around the corner, down the street. But he's an artist, and
you see that,
and
in
he's
his
super
food and his
creative,
dishes.
right? And go ahead. I just love making the masa too.
And it was so great to watch you. I think we have more of that video, but the space also inside the restaurant looks very intimate.
20 20 seats.
20 seats, that's it.
That's it.
Wow.
20 seats. I was going to say 20 tables, but no, 20 seats.
20 seats.
And it is very intimate. And I think that that's the experience that, you know, he wants people to have. He said he spent his whole life in a kitchen and learning to cook. And then 13 years as a chef, he said he realized he didn't know anything about Mexican cuisine. And so during COVID, he was home in his apartment in Montrose while everybody was making sourdough breads at home. He said, I had to do the research. I really wanted to learn how to make the tortillas from scratch. And it's just like a deeper, you know, cultural
meaning, significance
to it, right? Because it is maize and water. Those are the two ingredients. But to go through the process, right? He imports the maize from, there's only 3 importers from Mexico that can import maize here into the United States. And he works with the farmers, directly with the farmers in Mexico to bring over the maize. It is, they go through a process before it's able to be ground down into the masa. And it's fresh in-house. And so that process alone, how to make it. And then even when we were on the grill, we've got video of me on the grill, and he's like, okay, you got to do it like this size.
I would have been so intimidated.
Because it was so, I've never done it before, like in this way, right? And you have to pat it down a certain amount, and if you want to make it bigger, you squish it down even more, and then you have to peel it off just ever so slightly. I think I did a good job. I think I did a pretty good job. He said I did good. Making the masa, this part, he's like, we don't need a lot of water, and you know, I just kind of kept putting some more water. He's like, don't worry, we'll let this dry up. But it's just incredible. Because the creativity, he wanted to.
It's stunning. It's beautiful to look at.
Based on the tortillas are, you know, the maize is the center of the storytelling. And so all the recipes and the art basically comes from something to do with the tortilla, but everything tells a story, and I love that.
We've talked a lot about the preparation, the presentation. It's exquisite. Did you get to try it? So
I did get to try the tortillas, the fresh made, but we were there when they were doing prep. But he says we strive to make things different, right? And obviously a little bit upscale. So like a fried quesadilla. You can get a fried quesadilla anywhere, right? But like this fried quesadilla is going to come with a little bit of caviar, and we're going to switch it up. And it's just a beautiful presentation, and he's super creative, and he comes up with these ideas. And I think in those pictures of the platters, you can see it. I definitely am going to try to get on that list.
Well, you'll be
and there's a cancellation list,
right?
So get on the cancellation list if you can. And
if you can't make it, cancel. Sophia will take your reservation.
Let me know. And you know what? The team there, it's such a tight-knit group too, because the night that they announced that they won the 1-star on the Michelin Guide, they all got Michelin Guide stars tattooed. Yeah, they all got them tattooed, and you just it's such a fun. It's prestigious, right? And it's a fun time to celebrate, because he says he never thought that it would come to this,
right? He would land here. Right. Does he switch the menu up often, or did he talk about if it's a seasonal?
He keeps it, I think he changes it every now and then. I'm not sure about seasonal, but I think constantly coming up with new recipes. And looks switching it up. But they're a fun group. He's obviously said he wants to pave the way for other Hispanic chefs in the city of Houston, and I think that's amazing, because he is.
Absolutely. Well, we so much appreciate you stopping by. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Also amazing.